Today's tutorial is inspired by this exhibition by Zaha Hadid architects. When you look at these towers or these form of towers, they look similar and they look like they follow the same logic, but they are different and unique on their own. So today we are going to create one single script, and from this script we are going to try to create multiple iterations for this tower and of course transform it into SubD, and from that SubD model we are going to create some exoskeletons and then try to render it with AI. Welcome to day 8 of 30 scripts in 30 days. Let's start. So the first thing I want to do is to create a circle. You can start from circle or a polygon or something, but it's going to lead almost to the same thing. But for now, I want to start from a circle, and I will try to make a really interesting radius for it. So this is my circle, and after that, I want to move it. And then I want to move it in the Z, of course, and I want to move it in a very interesting way. So for now I will say range, and from this range you can see it's moving, but it's very tiny, so I will say 500, which is the domain. And right now if I change the amount of numbers in here, this will change how many circles in the middle, but it will still 500. So this is important for me, and I want to control how stacked they are, because right now they are uniform and I don't want that. I want them to follow let's say a graph mapper. So if I select this and add it to here and then try to probably use a Bezier curve and join it in here, maybe in this case I will remove this 500 from here, and then I will multiply this number and multiply it by this 500 and add it to here. So right now whatever I'm doing, it will be controlled by this number as the height, which is important for what I'm doing. Maybe we should make it closer like this and move this up. This is great. And then when we do something like this, you can see that it's getting closer in here. And if you do something like this means that all of them are getting up. Or if you do it like this, some of them are getting down. And you know, this will help us a lot to create something really interesting. And for now, maybe for the first iteration, I want something like this. So the pattern that we are going to create are going to be dense in the bottom, and then will feel a little bit you know, loose on the top. So something like that. And this is the first thing, so that's good. And after that I want to scale those circles, and to scale them, of course, I'm going to scale from the middle. So I'm going to get this middle in here, or the center, sorry, and then I'm going to create another graph mapper. And from this graph mapper, I want to get the list length of this and add it to a range as usual. And from here, of course, x minus 1, and just add it to this. And from here, we might think or consider making this into sine. And sine is really great because, let's hide all of this for a second. Sine is really great because it starts to react as a sine curve, and you can see that it's starting from the bottom and then curve a little bit and then go all the way to the top, which is good. But right now it's 0. I don't want the minimum to be 0. I want the minimum to be 1, and maybe the maximum will be 1.5, something like that. So we will have something similar to this. And the good thing about sine curve is that if we I will increase those for a second. Let's make them 50 just to show what I want to say. And for now, this is the domain is from 0 to 1. And if I say the domain is going to be 2, then it will start small and then curve and then go back to small. So it will go to 1 and then 1.5 and then go back to 1 again. So if I go to 3, then this will be 1, this will be 1.5, this will be 1, this will be 1.5. So you can see the pattern, right? So this will matter because it will matter how many curves you want in your tower. So for now, maybe we can try 2. 2 sounds great, but maybe in this case we can reverse it like this. If you reverse it, then the tower will be small waisted, or if you make something like this, it will be a little bit curvier. It depends on where you want, but for now I want this to be less. I think this number is huge, maybe 12 for the first iteration, I think, and maybe this will be closer to that, maybe closer to this. It depends. Okay, for now I will continue with this part. After that, I'm going to shatter all of these, but I'm going to, first of all, I want to divide, of course, divide those curves, and I want to divide them, let's say 4 or 5, or like we are going to create segments, like polylines, kind of, but let's say that I want to have 4 for now, and I will add this to here, but I think I need to graft those so the shatter will work as I want. Right now you have 4 segments, and if you go to tree branch, you will notice that it will select each circle on its own, but I want to flip the matrix. So once I flip the matrix, it will select a whole segment, which is the most important part of what we are going to do, because we want to create an evaluation for all of those. After that, of course, we will reparameterize, and then we want to get the evaluation based on a sine curve. So I'm going to create a graph mapper for this, and then I'm going to create a range, of course, and the range is going to be connected to list length, of course, x minus 1, and we are going to connect it to here, which is, if we go to this and then we go to create a sine, and let's see what you have done. If we go to polyline, you will notice that we have created some kind of twisted curve that is going to be moving from the 0, which is the starting point, to the 1, which is the ending point, which is great, but I don't want it to move all the way for that. So I want it to start from the, let's say not 0, but let's say 0.05, something very, very tiny, but closer to 0. I don't want it to start from the 0. And the second part is that I don't want it to exceed the middle. So it's not going to exceed the 0.5. So for now, I will say 0.445, something like this. You can manipulate those, but just make sure that it's not 0 and it's not 0.5. And right now you can see it's kind of in the middle between the start and the end, not in the middle exactly, but kind of. And then when you copy this, and let's stretch this a little bit, and not this one, I want this, but just to organize things a little bit. And this one, I want it to be the reverse. I want it to start from 1 and go back to the other side. So I'm going to say 1 minus x. And when you look at those, you will kind of see what we have done. It's starting a little bit from here and go all the way up to here, which is in a sine wave kind of, which is exactly what I'm looking for. But instead of this, I want it to move dynamically more, because right now this is only from 0 to 1. So if we set 2 or 3, so 2 is going to start again from this point and then go all the way to the same point. So if we increase this to 3, 4, the more we increase it, the more it will get better. But at some point, you can see that you will need more curves. But I think for now, I don't need all of this. It will make the tower look like crowded, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe in different iteration, we can try this. But for now, I think 4 is going to be a decent number for this iteration. After that, we want to add the middle curve. So Control C, Control V, and in this case I don't want this, and actually it's not going to be connected to this, it's going to be connected to something like this, which is just a normal number, and then 1 in here, which is going to be connected to 0, and another 1 in here, which is going to be connected to 1. So I'm going to entwine all of this, and this, and this, and add 2 more, and this, and this. And then I'm going to flip the matrix, and I'm going to loft. And when I loft, if I go to tree branch, you will notice that right now I'm selecting one of them, which is this side, and you can see that this is the 0, for example, and then the first one, and then the middle, and then the second one, and then the 1, which is the end. But right now it's too smooth. If you look at all of this, it's just like a very smooth curve. I don't want that. I want it to have a straight loft, so it will give me all the curves of this, which I can now just simply turn it into SubD. So all I need to do right now is just go to Simple Mesh, and from this Simple Mesh I'm going to join everything, join all of these meshes, probably flatten, and just weld all the meshes, and then SubD from mesh. And right now, if we bake this, we will have, let's hide this for a second, we will have this, which is a really decent SubD that we can start working from. And right now, if you go to the rendered, you will notice that there is nothing at all, so we might need to add some creases. So I will go to the shaded for a second, and then I might use only those, which is the curvier curves, like the sine wave curves, something like this. Come on. Okay, you know what, let's select it this way. I'm going to select this and this. I think this way is easier. Okay, and then add crease. So right now you should have something like this, which is a decent, we don't need that. Let's remove the crease. So this is a decent beginning to something going to be good. But I kept the curve in the middle because if you remove this curve, then you will end up with something sharp like this. But maybe you want to end up with something sharp like this, and maybe you don't. It depends on your own design. But if you want to do something like this, we can just simply copy all of this, Control C, and probably try, let's just move those up here. Okay, keep this somewhere here. And then I don't want the first item, and I don't want the last item, and I don't want the middle item. So I will end up with something like this. If we hide this for a second, I will end up with something like this. But if I flatten all of these and then close this, because it's open, you can, if you can see it in here, it's open. So I will close it, and okay, you will end up with something like this. And then once you bake it, you will end up with something more interesting, kind of, but it depends on your approach again. So in this case, you can just click on this and then click on this and hit space or enter, and then crease it, and you will end up with something like this, which is very interesting. Also, if you go to the rendered again, you will end up with something like this. And if we show one of them and select it and move it probably 250, each one has its own uniqueness. So you can select something a little bit curvier like this, or you can select something sharp like this. It depends on your own approach. Okay, for now I will delete one of them, and this is my first iteration, so this is great. I will just move it somewhere here, and then Let's go to the shaded. Yeah, I think in this direction is fine. I'm going to say 250, and then I will copy all of this. By the way, the script now is done. You can just copy it and create different iterations and different designs for this. So I'm going to create 5, and I'm just going to, for the second iteration, I want probably all of this to stay the same. Let's see. Let's see this. But maybe I want to go in here, and instead of 4 sides, this as a 4, let's try to make it 6. And then let's see what we have done. Let's bake it. And let's go to here and increase this, and then do something like that. And when you look at this in the rendered, probably, let's hide this. You can see that the closer it will get more interesting in the blends, and also the curves are more softer or more it depends on how you see it. So for now, I think both of them are unique on its own. So this might be so sharp and too sharp, and you want something have more volume, so maybe you will end up with something like this. But so far I'm happy with those. We can just keep trying. So for now I'm going to move those 250 and try another iteration. But this one I might try something a little bit aggressive. So for this one, I want to go back to probably here, and I want to change the movement of this. So instead of this, I want to make the movement a little bit like it's kind of equal, a little bit in the top and the bottom, maybe a little bit aggressive in the middle. So the more I stretch this like that, and the more I stretch this like this, it's going to be concentrated in here. And maybe in this case I will reverse the scale, so it will be a little bit smaller in here, and you will get the pattern. In this case, the pattern will start to look something like this, which is kind of interesting on its own. Also, if maybe we will open this instead so you can see it better, which is kind of creating a very dynamic, very different approach. But it's just, we just changed a few sliders. Maybe in this case 6 is too much. Maybe we can make it only 4 and see what you have done. So right now you should have something similar to this, which is interesting on its own. And I think once we bake, we can go to here and select all these upper curves and go to edge loop, and then create something like this. And let's hide everything in here. And it's kind of interesting. Maybe we can try to stretch this part a little bit, because it doesn't feel very well. So maybe let's try to show this. And these are too aggressive. I think if we just relax it a little bit, it will be better. And then we will bake. I think I'm more interested in this. Okay, and then do it like this. Yes, this is more interesting and more relaxed version of that. And yeah, I'm happy with this one. Let's move it to this side, 250. And let's try 2 more. So I'm going to copy this one. You can try this and show me the results, maybe on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, on actually on LinkedIn, and also on Instagram. I'm there, and Facebook, on anywhere. So just show me what you are doing with this design. For now, maybe I like this kind of waist, so I will try to experiment with it a little bit more, and I will try to make this into 2, not 4. So let's see the curves themselves. And these are 4, which is interesting, but if we are reduce it to 2, 3 or 2, then you will end up with something like this, which is very elegant, to be honest. And let's make it like this, and again just crease all of them, which is I'm very optimistic about this one. And let's try one more. I think in this one maybe we can just move those like this, and maybe actually let's go back to this kind of shape. And let's try to create something a little bit have too many curves, like for now, because I want to add more curves in here, so probably 20 in this case. And also in this I want to show you also one more thing. We mentioned that 1 is going to start from the lower to the, like from the lowest point to the highest point, and 2 is going to go back. But what if we said 1.5? I want you to see that, because it's not going to go all the way to this. It's going to start, you know, dance a little bit, so it's not going to all the way like on the integer number. I want it to be a little bit like this, maybe 1.5 in this case. So this might be interesting. And then maybe we can increase this number to a very like 6. Maybe we can increase it to 8, so we will end up with something like this, which is very interesting amount of curves, like very aggressive, something like this, but more. And maybe we can increase this number even a little bit more to 6, so something really dense like that. And then we can just simply bake. Okay, and again we will just select one of these curves and then edge loop, and then something like this. I think for now the grasshopper part is done, so we can just save and close it. I'm not interested in grasshopper anymore. And the rest of this tutorial is going to be in Rhino, and we can start working a little bit on refining these shapes. For example, I don't like this kind of too close, too tiny curves, so maybe I will just eliminate some of these. So for example, I don't want this is too close and this is too close. And to understand the difference, this is what it looks like, and when you remove it, it's a little bit better. So it gives the curve a little bit of breathness. And when you do the same, maybe we can select 2 curves like this in the middle. By the way, these are like the middle curves kind of, and these are in between, so they are like creating some kind of division. And if you stitch them together, then things get a little bit smoother. So it depends if you want to keep it as curvier or as smoother. It depends, like it's your own design and your own approach. For now I'm happy with this. Maybe not this one, it's too dense on the bottom a little bit. Maybe this one is too dense also. If you remove some of these, uh, by the way, some of these might also, if you want to stitch them together, so you might end up with something like this, maybe. So it depends. I don't see any difference in here. Maybe these ones are too much. or maybe we should eliminate this one. Actually, let's eliminate this one. Actually, let's keep it as it is. And maybe for those, yeah, I think for now this is good. I'm not going to dive too much into this because it will take a lot of time. But you get the idea. You can refine it however you want, and this is the important part of this. And right now, I think because later I will need it for the crown, I will just select all of these upper curves and just go do something like this. And right now, maybe in the middle, a little bit, something like this. I think that will be better. Maybe we can slide it a little bit to the middle again, but it's closer to the top, so -5 or 5 depending on the arrow. Uh, depending on the arrow, if it's up, then you write 0.5. If it's down, then you write -0.5. So it will go up, like right now, 0.5. So it doesn't ruin the shape, but it's also closer to the top. So when we do some kind of additional modeling, it will not ruin how this will look. And this is important. Okay, I think the next step is to simply separate. So for now, I will select probably this one because it have some too much details. I think not too much details, but I think like enough details to explain what I want to explain. And I think for now I will get this to probably somewhere away and isolate it. And I want to get all of these to be separated, so I'm going to select, first of all, I clicked in here, select face loop, and then select all of these smaller ones, and then OK, and separate, and while they are highlighted, move them somewhere here, and then go to the front probably, or the right, depends. Yes, this one is better, and simply select all of these until you get to closer to like a very tight narrow shape. And we will do the same in here until you will get to this, and we will do the same to those. Okay, and those will be separated, and once we do this, you are basically separated everything, and this is good because right now I will select everything and make an inset. Yes, finally. Just make sure that it's not too tiny. That's the important part, because if it's too tiny, then it will crumble like this, which is not good, like it's too close. But maybe in this case 2.5 or even 2 2 2 only. I think 2 is going to be good for this design. Okay, and then extract those, and that's it. I think in this case I don't need anything creased, so I will remove any creases. So I will end up with something like this, which is good because I want to select those ones like that, and the same goes to here, something like this. I don't want to go to the other side like this, and I think these ones might be easier to select them from the top. And then I'm going to join, and in the join this will be creased. No, I want it to be smooth, so you will end up with something like this. And once you move all of these to 150 and then select all of these in the top, this is a really interesting part, because if I join those and keep it smooth, then everything will be smoother and there will be no creases. So if I go to here, you can see that everything is kind of interesting, but there is no creases or anything. So if we want to add the crease, then before we join, if we go back to here and select those back, and before we join, we just make sure to click on the crease, and this will help create this kind of flow, because maybe you can just select all of these creases like this. And after that, you can scale them a little bit to outward. So for example, I want to scale them in 2D. So right now I'm going to say 1.05 in this direction and then 1.05 in this direction because I don't want to scale them outside. So this is good because right now you can see that it's creating something interesting. Maybe in this case I'm not happy with those ones down there. So maybe I'll just blend them with the structure. So it will be something like this, maybe, or maybe not, it depends on this, but you get the point. And after that, we want to create the crown. So the crown is going to be really interesting because right now we don't need, if we go to the front, we don't need those ones, and we don't need those ones, and we don't need those ones. So I will end up with something like this, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And I want to select only those, and then extrude, and then kind of shrink them to the middle a little bit, not too much. And then I'm going to simply click on those and then bridge, only one, and then click on those and bridge, click on those and bridge. And then I want to close all of this, so I'm going to simply select this one and probably going to extrude this and then simply select all of these as points. I'm going to select all of these vertices and crease them, and I'm going to lower them back. And I don't want any creases in all of this, so I'm going to just select all of them and remove any creases. And I want only some of these creases, so I'm going to bring them back like this, which will be easier. And probably I think in this case we can select those curves and just shrink them a little bit inward, so we will have something like this, which is good. And in this case, maybe I don't want all of these creases, so I will remove them. And this is too high right now, so I'm going to lower it like this. And this point is a little bit too high also, so I'm going to move it vertically from its own location to this vertex, so it's kind of doing something like this, which is good. And then I want to get all of these and just do something like this, and then I will just move all of these to this location. So right now you will end up with something like this, which is kind of interesting on its own. And I'm going to repeat this process for the other towers. So it's the same exact process for all the towers. Maybe not with the crown. Some of them I will leave it open. But yeah, this is because this part is going to be repetitive. So I will just speed it up. Okay, in this one I'm interested to do a little bit something different, so I'm going to eliminate those small ones, and I'm going to eliminate all of these creases. Maybe not all of them. I'm going to eliminate the corners. I forgot those. Okay, and just eliminate this. And I think in this case I might need to those are not eliminated. I will go to the front and probably select those high ones and maybe increase the height of them, and then I'm going to select like those curves. Let's see, this one with this one, and I'm going to bridge, so I will end up with something grounded like this, and I will do the same for all. And in this case I'm going to show, and right now we have all of these creases. I'm not interested to see them, so I'm going to just move this somewhere here and then show, and I'm going to remove any creases in here, so just like this, and then I will bring this back to 150, and then I will move it back to its place, so it's going back to here and here. So this one is going to be a little bit different, and this one has a crown, this one has a shape like this, and let's see. In this one I might just select all these top ones, but just from one side, and increase it, and we will end up with something like this. So when we eliminate those two, and then when we go to those four, actually let's eliminate those also, and then we will, when we get to those, and maybe increase it a little bit, and then just make something like this. And in this case I think there might be some unnecessary creases, so I'm going to do something like this, and I'm going to do, okay, it's already not bad, I think. Maybe in this case we can just eliminate the first one in the top, and you will end up with something like this, which is not bad, kind of good. Maybe even increase those points if we crease them. Kind of good. We are doing something really quick, so it doesn't really matter that much, but it's closer to what we are looking for, which is exactly what I need. And for this one I'm happy with this. This is more than what I'm looking for, and right now I'm bringing it back. those two ones, I will just keep it simple. So for now, I will just move those. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. Maybe we can just go to this one, maybe on the front. Um, yes, and just crease all of these lower points because I don't want them to look like that. So we will have something like this, as sharp as this. And maybe if you want, you can just simply select all of these lower faces and remove them, and then select all of these and just Gumbo relocate and to here, and then lower it like this, so you will have some kind of entrances, which is kind of good. It depends, again, it depends on your own approach for all of these designs. And right now these are the results for this. So right now the Rhino part is done. I'm going to just try to uh, work on them on the AI. So I'm going to maybe just move them a little bit away from each other. So right now I'm going to add 100 meters between them. Yes, something like this, so AI will not confuse them, probably. Maybe this one, instead of 50, I'll try 20 because it gives depth a little bit more. 20 is too much in this case, maybe 30. Maybe 40. I don't want it to be too spread, maybe 35. Yes, I think this view might be interesting. Okay, about the AI, long story short, Midjourney is not helping at all. Most of the pictures are not like very bad in terms of details. I tried multiple reference images. This doesn't even want to show. But anyway, I tried to move on to LookX, and LookX is really incredible in resolving the images, but it's not the best in keeping, like giving a really impressive surroundings. It gives a really good surrounding, but it's not like the best. I'll try to show you multiple pictures. You know, like this is really good, but this kind of glow is doesn't make any sense. But it at least it's really stick to the original picture. So this is really incredible. Like you can see it also in here. Like it's sticking to the original picture, which is really helpful. But it's some in some images it's not perfect. But at least I got this results from the AI. I'm not really good with AI, but I will try to improve my skills in AI. If you have any suggestions or anything, please let me know. And I'm actually attending some multiple workshops about this topic. But so far, I'm happy with the results that I'm getting from LookX itself. Some of them are really good. Maybe they need tweaks, but I'm not really professional in editing with an AI. And I tried to go back to here and edit the original images, like I brought them back to here, but unfortunately it also damaged some of the details, so it's not really good. But for now the I will keep those images. This one seems really interesting, at least it have all the details. This one and this one maybe like if you crop half of it, it will, like this half kind of makes sense. This half, I'm not really happy with this, but this is the final results for today. Thank you so much for taking interest in my content, and thank you so much for everyone who is subscribing and who is interacting with my content. It's really helpful. And also, if you want to be supportive for my channel, please join my Patreon, and you will find all the scripts and all the files in there. And thank you so much, and see you in the next episode.